Welcome to the Cancer Conversations with Coach Wanda. If you missed the previous podcast episodes, no need to worry because we have it all recorded on my YouTube channel. You just go to LinkedIn Coach Wanda and you can find it. You can also go to my LinkedIn account under the event section. You can watch the recording. Every week we do have every episode and we have about 100 to 300 people who are interested in attending. And let me walk you through what are the previous episodes we had. On the first episode, I'm very blessed to guest the first Emirati, first UAE national breast cancer surgeon, Dr. Huria Kazim. We spoke everything about how to prevent, detect, and cure breast cancer. And this episode gave me a lot of information that is specifically for you age 40 and above. You need to get yourself checked because breast cancer is one of the most common disease for women, but it's also the most curable one if you get yourself checked, of course. And so it's important. Visit Dr. Nura Kazim's LinkedIn profile to know more about her services at the Well Woman Clinic here in Dubai. Now, on the second episode, I am also very blessed to guest another doctor, Dr. Romy Paredes. We spoke about how to heal cancer holistically for over 20 plus years. Dr. Romy have helped 24,000 patients and he helped a lot of cancer patients heal holistically because this is the truth. You take the medicine or whatever therapy you need for cancer, but you need to go to the root cause of any problem, and that is where Dr. Rami plays a role in terms of having his laboratory story concept where he speak to the patient, get through the root cause of the problem, so you that get to heal from cancer holistically in all area of your life. He also has a program in terms of an online course. So go visit wellnessland.org so you can know more about Dr. Romi's services and also to enroll in his program, How to Heal Cancer Holistically. Now, on our third episode, I am also very blessed to guest one of my staff, Rose. Rose shared how she is continuously surviving and thriving, even if the husband was struggling with cancer. And it's an emotional journey, but in this episode, we spoke about how to navigate the emotional journey as a cancer caregiver. See, you need to take care of yourself so you can take care of others. And in this episode, Rose shared tips and tools that you can immediately apply so you can help others and take care of yourself too. Go to Linktree Coach Wanda or go to my LinkedIn profile so you can watch the replay of all these episodes. Now, on the next episode, that's the episode of an interview with a very good coach, Coach LJ, as I call her. They spoke about how every sickness is related to an emotional wound that we have. It sounds scary, but what LJ said is that sickness is a lot of factors, but 1% is only genetics. She said 4% is environment and 95% because of what's happening around us. So it's very important for you to understand how your emotions, the negative emotions that you have, manifest into sickness. And on this episode, Coach Elder shared right tips and tools also you can manage the stress of every day. You need to make sure that you're processing those negative emotions so that they cannot turn into sickness. She also shared how joy is one of the most powerful tools for you to find happiness, health, and healing. Again, go to Linktree Coach Wanda to watch the replay of this episode. On the next episode, wow, I'm very blessed. On episode 5, I interviewed, he is Australian, but he lived in Canada also. And George is a very, very inspiring person. At the age of 31, he was diagnosed with cancer. At the age of 39, he had a brain injury and he lost all his cognitive function. And, George was vulnerably sharing how at the age of 31, doctors really gave up on him. Only his bone marrow was free from cancer, but the rest of his body has. But George, now at the age of 47, was able to survive, thrive, and live the happiest, healthiest, smartest version of himself. He shared everything that he did, from the therapy, how he healed cancer holistically on this episode. So please go to LinkedIn Coach Wanda to listen to the conversations of hope, to understand more about George's story so you can be inspired. If George have gone through so many things but still now live a life filled with joy and meaning, then you can do it too. And of course, one of the last episode that we have is an interview with Liwa. Liwa is based in Saudi, and he shared how TouchPay is transforming cancer treatment and healthcare payments. Honestly, cancer is a very expensive care. I mean, some people spend 10,000 to 20,000 just on the monthly medicines itself. And it's important to know that there's solutions to that, like how TouchPay is transforming the payment, where you get 0% interest that you can pay over 12 months. Get in touch with Liwa to know more about how TouchPay can help, because right now they're only operating in a few countries, but you'll never know. Maybe they'll be operating soon in many other countries. So, without further ado, let's now go to our episode for today, where I have a very special guest, Dr. Kapoor, where we'll talk about the advancements in technology, in genome, in biopsy, so you can help yourself get check, and of course get healthier. Tune in, and I look forward to seeing you on our upcoming podcast episodes. And I would also like to personally invite you, if you want to be a part of our mission to share inspiring stories, insightful information about cancer and caregiving of cancer, please do get in touch with us. We have a lot of episodes every week. Mondays about Monday motivation in terms of stories of how do you cope with cancer. Tuesdays about Therapy Tuesday, where we dedicate this day to healthcare experts and, of course, doctors to share what are the latest advancements and cure about cancer. On Wednesday, it's a Wellness Wednesday, where we share alternative therapies to heal cancer holistically. On Thursday, it's about the truth. It's about the inspiring stories that these people share so you can heal and, of course, prevent having cancer. On Fearless Friday, we talk about demystifying the myths about cancer, what to do about it, what's wrong, what's right, so you can get the right guidance and information. On Supportive Saturday, it's about charities, organization, and stories of caregivers who were able to overcome and survive the complex journey of cancer. And on Survivor Sunday, these are the overcomers, as they call it there. These are the persons who are battling and who have survived cancer. So every week is a different episode. Every week every day we have a different theme. So if you do want to partner with us as a guest, as a sponsor for the podcast, we would love to have you. Message me, Wandalin Kalupig, or go to social media marketing page, and one of the members of my team will get in touch with you. See you and God bless you. Do you know that cancer is the second cause of death globally? Are you scared to have cancer? Well, do you know that there is a solution now that cancer can be detected even before it arises, because there's precision healthcare and genomics that makes it possible for you to identify and detect whether you do have a possibility of having cancer. Tune in, because tonight we have a very special guest, Dr. Kapoor. We will share about everything on precision healthcare about cancer. If you don't know me yet, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Wanda Lintan Kalupig, 2023 top 15 LinkedIn expert in Dubai, and 2021 number one most influential Filipino on LinkedIn. This Cancer Conversations podcast with Coach Wanda is streamed live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and also will be published as a YouTube podcast, because our goal is to share insightful information and inspiring stories about cancer, because we want to change the narrative of cancer so people will find strength, support, and the right information. So today, let me read the bio of Dr. Kapoor. Dr. Anmol Kapoor is a distinguished cardiologist, entrepreneur, and innovator. He completed medical school in St. Petersburg, Russia, followed by an internal medicine residency at the University of Alberta and a cardiology fellowship at the University of Manitoba. He further honed his expertise in carotid ultrasound at the Cleveland Clinic in the USA. Dr. Kapoor is the founder and CEO of BioAro Inc., a leading Canadian biotech company specializing in genomics, precision health, health span, and longevity. BioAro excels in health technology, leveraging artificial intelligence and blockchain, and has fled over 70 patents across various healthcare fields. Wow. The company research spans human precision health, veterinary medicine, environmental science, and agriculture. He also founded Cardi AI Inc., a biotech firm specializing in AI-driven cardiology services, and Anerton Technologies, a pioneer in decentralized data storage and DNA-based NFT digital passport systems. Wow. Dr. Kapoor's medical interests include the primary and secondary prevention of genomic and cardiac diseases, vascular medicine, women's health, and healthcare initiatives for visible minorities. He is an award winning author, a public speaker, and he's dedicated to improving healthcare outcomes globally. Dr. Kapoor is also a founding partner of Southern Alberta Medical and the president of Advanced Cardiology Consultants and Diagnostics in Calgary. Wow, this is a lot of information. So tune in. You can understand how much we can learn from Doctor. Let us bring Doctor on stage. Doctor, I cannot thank you enough. I mean, I know your time is so precious. So thank you for saying yes to this interview. I think let's straight away ask you the question because I know you're doing so many great things in the world. But maybe you can talk about the humble beginnings, how you founded BioAro and landed into genomics, precision healthcare, blockchain, and AI.
Well, being a doctor, you always have to learn. Learning never stops. So you learn in a medical school or before going to medical school. When you are in medical school, you learn about cardiology, learn about ways to prolong someone's life. That's the reason we are in medicine, because we want to make someone live longer or have the less complications from the diseases they have and have a better quality of life. And but there are many puzzles in medicine. They always needs to be solved. Many questions every day needs to be answered. So the globally, the team of scientists and clinicians, they always work in that direction to see what the problems humanity is facing, and that requires solving. So sometimes we have an answer, sometimes even I don't have an answer. And we used to say idiopathic. Essentially, we have no clue why someone has a disease, why someone has a cancer or a heart failure or a heart attacks before than someone else in their family. And that's what led us to go towards seeking answers. So when COVID hit, our one of my company in Canada launched the world's fastest COVID PCR test, where we married lab-based technology into PCR technologies. We were able to get analysis done in less than 30 minutes in a PCR machine, and globally it was taking 3, 4, 5, 6 hours or days to get the report back. So we streamlined.
Hmm.
People are getting reports in 24 hours, as fast as in 8 hours in their mailboxes. So, which allowed them to travel, have a peace of mind. Just imagine someone were worried during COVID times and they worried about their family, and they giving a report coming back after 3 days is not helpful because viruses spread very fast. Knowing on the same day, within same few hours, is very powerful tool. So we deployed the technology successfully across Canada, which allowed us to raise some funds. And during those times, we were sequencing the viruses. We learned that there is a more complex problem needs to be solved: the human genome,
Hmm.
oncology, the cancer side, the precision medicine, and that led us into solving those mysteries. And that led us to the global journey where we have solved some mysteries and many more needs to be solved. And
Hmm.
in those solutions at the global level in people's hand.
That's great, doctor. I mean, amazing how your journey started during the pandemic, then led to many more discoveries and innovation, right? Now, doctor, speaking of cancer, I mean, it was really so scary for me when I look at the statistics, how it is now the second cause of, death globally. And when I interviewed, I mean, in my first interview with one of the first Emirati breast cancer surgeon in the UAE, there's no science to why and how you get it. And I think it's good that you do have some tests which can definitely identify and detect even before cancer occurs. Can you share about, how does it work? How can you really know? Because I mean, prevention is always better than cure, right? Can you explain more about the technologies arising in terms of early detection?
Yes, it's very important to understand what contributes into cancer. So essentially,
Hmm.
cancer uh, up switching on of the cell function and it's
Mm-hmm.
multiply unlimited, and it overburdens, overwhelms the system of the human, and eventually leads to the death of that person. If
Hmm.
it's not so, why does it happen? So it has a
Yeah.
multiple reasons that could happen. Like even the today, there's a study published and a very powerful study published in the in the Cell magazine that the cancer rates are increasing in the younger population. We used to think
Hmm.
those are happening more in the older people. We
Yeah.
used to think end up living longer. So when the
Hmm.
disease medication started, we were able to make people live longer, and they have a better quality of life because of the advancements in cardiac care. As people
Hmm.
we are realizing that in the Western world, that now people start to die from cancers because they're living,
Hmm.
and we assume that because they're living longer, they probably the cancer cells are getting detected at this time, and cancer is probably
Mm,
it's the wrong hypothesis at that time. Now we
yeah.
are, it's not the heart disease that is killing the young
Mm,
much as the cancer rates are globally rising, and
mm,
we looked upon. It is a multifactorial. Some may think that a genetic predisposition can put someone at risk. Yes, there are genes that sometimes we inherit and they pass on from one generation to the generation that can put us at high risk of developing some cancers. But same time, we also get a random mutations in our lifespan when the random
mm,
can also put us at risk for developing cancers. And what the random mutation will be, we used to think happening when we are older, and at that time
mm,
unstable. Because when we are young, the DNA is more stable. The DNA instability is happening. During those
oh,
instability, DNA is always damaging, repairing. It's an ongoing process.
mm,
So somewhere along the way, instability happens, and that leads us to develop cancer in older people. But how do you explain young people developing cancers? So that's where the epigenetic comes in play. One is you can have a genome predispositions, but
mm,
sometimes environmental factors play a role. The biological factors play a role, and that's very important to understand because we know now epigenome has have a more of an impact on the genome, whole genome sequencing,
mm,
the outcome perspective, clinical perspective. So environmental factors, the chemicals we eat, and the things we use, or the makeups, or the soaps, or anything that is we are ingesting, and either through skin or orally, and so those chemicals and the things we're eating also because we have now our food supply is polluted. So we have a
mm,
everywhere. We are eating microplastic every day. We are drinking microplastic every day. People make
mm,
fish from nice ocean, but we are finding that the plastic cells are also in the fishes. The meat we are
oh,
eating, plastics there, and the veg
mm,
you may think is healthy, but the question became what actually is healthy. An apple or
mm,
fish should be healthy, but if they have a
yeah,
lot of chemicals inside already, so how the human eye can see it unless you do a test?
mm,
There's no other way. We go to a restaurant and the spices there they put it in, and many spices from India we found out they've been linked to causing cancers because they're pre-packed
mm,
they have a certain chemicals put it in India or Pakistan or other countries because the demand globally is high for those spices. They can't make as much. They have to preserve them to last longer on the shelf life. So they put some chemicals. Putting chemicals
Mm.
is to make your Indian dishes spicier or Filipino dishes spicier, not knowing
Yeah.
necessarily. It just says whatever water on the mix there. We have no idea.
Mm.
Many
What is
spices.
your
That's why many spices lately got banned by European Union. Got banned by,
mm.
and especially Indian, Pakistani, and a bunch of other spices from certain brands got banned to be imported in those countries because they didn't
Mm.
declare. But other countries, the people have no idea, and that the awareness is very important. So yes, we
Yes.
have position. Yes, we can have, but environmental factors, epigenetic factors, we cannot discount. So
Hmm.
to knowingly smoking, alcohol use, not exercising, obesity, being overweight. So all of those things play a role towards cancer. 100% we can see that evidence linked with that. But now the other environmental factors also play a role. The diet, the
Mm.
things we
Yeah.
think, but they're not good. So all of those combined together now is contributing more cancer occurrences in younger people.
Mm. I understand now, doctor. I mean, a lot of people may think, oh, I'm eating vegetable, I'm very healthy, right? But it's what you put in the vegetable and where did the vegetable come from and the ingredients of the vegetable. It's scary, but I think it's an eye opener, right, doctor? And I think thank you for sharing that. We need to be aware, what are the preservatives that comes with whatever we buy because that could be harmful to our. Now, doctor, genome is a very like scientific term genome testing, precision-based testing. Can you explain on a layman's term, like what does it really mean and how is it really helpful for any person who want themselves checked in terms of both cancer detection and treatment? What is that?
Well, let's start for treatment, then we come to the detection side. Let's start
Okay,
from the
good, good. Yeah, yeah, let's start.
precision medicine essentially means having a precise solution for for that problem, right? So if you have a home, if you have a home, and if your window's leaking, you are not going to fix the whole home. You're not going to
True.
destroy the home. You're not going to change the doors and other home windows, and you're not going to damage all of them. You're going to fix that special window, the particular window that is causing the problem. If you're having a water leaking in the room, in one particular area. So you're not going to be putting the whole area covered to protect it for water damage because that area is damaging because if you're going to put a plastic around to cover the whole home, it is going to also cause some other issues, more expensive. So that's what the precision approach is. Essentially, you have the problem and you have to
Mm-hmm.
target the problem with a precise solution. So in cancer
Mm-hmm.
happening or happens in many times globally, uh, what we do is we do a chemotherapy and we give a chemotherapy. We don't know. We understand there's a cancer cells and the cancer cells kill because they're overproducing, but we don't know how to kill them at the point of production. We do is we give a chemotherapy which kills the broader cells of the person. It's like giving
Yes.
attacking a nuclear bomb and
Mm-hmm.
use a small gun and to kill the criminal. And nuclear bomb to destroy anything under that, and then hope that things will grow slowly by itself. So that's what
Mm-hmm.
the approach was. So of course we didn't know which cancer cells to kill. Now we understand
Mm-hmm.
which cancer cells to be killed, and various technologies are helping us to focus on those target therapy decisions. And how genomic comes in play. So genomic comes in play because every cancer has a unique DNA, and
Oh.
the way
Mm.
DNA is unique and my DNA is unique, same way every cancer DNA is unique. If you tell someone you have breast cancer or you have a prostate cancer, you say, look, my dad had prostate cancer, my friend got it, and his friend also had it by chance, and you'll think it's just one prostate, every man has it, and it must be the same cancer. It's wrong information. So
Oh.
yeah, so all three of them may have a different mutation altogether.
Hmm.
Cancer because every mutation of that cancer has its own DNA. So unless you
Oh.
see the DNA of that cancer, you have no idea what kind of mutation is there. And now if you
Mm.
know this cancer mutation, then you can decide which drugs can be used just for that area. Instead of giving the whole chemotherapy, not
Yeah.
what is going to work, what is not going to work, the approach now is to let's get a biopsy of that cancer, let's do sequence of that cancer, and then understand the DNA mutations of that cancer, and then
Mm-hmm.
which is the right drug for that person. So this way, person does not carry all the side effect, and they get the right treatment. If you're going to give them a hit and trial approach, try A, try B, try C, it will,
Mm.
by the time person gets to the last stage, so person has nothing left in the immune system to try even. So why not we go, the first try should be the right try, instead of going to
Sure.
first B, C, D, E and see what happens. So that is
Mm.
diagnostic side and in the treatment side. So now comes down to,
Mm.
as I mentioned, so every cancer has own unique DNA, and that
Mm.
DNA needs to be sequenced. Without sequencing it, you don't actually know the cancer type. So you're going blind. So it's like
Okay.
having a heart attack, not knowing which artery is getting blocked.
Yeah.
You're not
Mm.
stent in all the arteries. You want to know which artery is blocked, causing the heart attack. You'll go to that specific artery, put that
Mm-hmm.
stent put in that area, or you bypass that artery. You're not going to touch other arteries because you know that
Definitely.
you kill the person if you're going to touch that artery. So if
Mm-hmm.
in interventional side, so same way oncology works. So exactly the same way we have to implement now at population level. We do that in the,
Mm.
we know it. Doctors know it in the Western worlds, and to deliver it to the normal people who can access that, there's a huge gap. There's a difference
Mm.
coffee cup and the lip. So for a
Yeah.
drinking, and you should be able to. There's a huge difference there. So coffee will not just go in your mouth. You have to carry the coffee cup with you to drink it. Exactly the same way.
True.
So all these beautiful, amazing technologies in genomics and multi, or we call it pan-omic area,
Mm.
people don't have an access. If you don't have an access, then only
True.
you're getting a word of two people. One is a have, one is have not. People who have an,
Mm.
who don't have an access, who don't have an access will be keep dying and keep suffering, and people who
True.
have access will be help living longer. This the whole
Mm.
NC existing. So BioAro's aim is that everyone should have an access. It should be cheap, fast, accurate, at point of care diagnostics. So this way, the more people will come in, the cost will be going
Mm.
down. So
Definitely.
the scales,
Mm.
so then poor people will also get an access to that, right?
Mm.
So that's a model we are trying to follow in the BioAro mandate. It's like Tesla. When the Tesla car came out, the first car was the most expensive one, and they
Yeah.
didn't make the second car, which is a little bit more cheaper than the first one. Then they used money to
Mm.
profit, made a cheaper car, the mass level car. And now no one is
Mm.
buying car any at all. Maybe few people, but now most people are buying the cheapest car possible. There's economies of scale happening. So we are
Mm.
model. So bring the cost down over time. This people can access. So now coming
Definitely.
down to the diagnostic side. So what happens in
Mm.
genomics? So genomics essentially is a science of genes, omics, and
Mm.
many other omics there. So one omics called it transcriptomics. So say someone has a gene, someone has a predisposition of a
Mm.
disease. So someone is going to do a crime in a layman term. So look, I have a predisposition that I'm going to kill someone. Okay, but I have not killed someone. If I have not killed,
Mm.
you're not going to put me in jail because I have not done any crime. I may have an intent. I may have a mutation that I may do crime, but there's no guarantee I will do crime. So
Mm.
only act when I do the crime. So now you have to create a system to monitor me. The Dr. Kapoor has intent to commit crime, and we need to find and we have to monitor him along the way when he commits crime, or we intercept before he commits crime. So this way he doesn't harm the person, and we intercept him before that. It's called
Mm.
okay? So intercepting in the messaging side. So you have a gene predisposition, a cancer cell has to upregulating, like a switch on, switch down. So before the switch on happening, my genes have to send a message. under
Mm.
when you send a transcription message, transcribing the message, and a
Yeah.
message goes to cell level, so the cell become upregulated, switches on. At that time, we can intercept called transcriptomics. And when
Mm.
proteins now going to be acting because of the message that was sent to them, and the crime is going to be happening, and the bullets and all of the things are coming in play. So at that time, we call proteomics. So the proteins ourselves are moving around. We are detecting in the blood. We are understanding what's happening in the human physiology. That's called proteomics. Then we have in the gut, we call microbiome. We have trillions and trillions of bacteria, pathogens, and protozoas, and many different things in our body.
Yeah.
And in fact, the microbiota in the stomach is in itself is a living organism. So that is keeping us the most healthiest. Sometimes,
Mm.
sometimes, Louis, you can say, Dr. Kapoor is going to commit crime. He's going to kill someone, or he's going to cause an accident. He's going to
Mm.
driving. Let's take an example of road rage. So Dr. Kapoor is going, and he's going to cause an accident on the driving. But his tendency, but he is otherwise a calm guy. He's a good person. He's very calm. But we don't know when he's going to get angry when he's driving. So to get him angry, he is stuck in the traffic jam. So traffic jam is stuck, then it becomes an environmental issue. So environmental factors trigger a person to become an angry in the driving in the car there. So at that time it's environmental called microbiomic environmental factor because there are multiple cars on the traffic. So we have multiple different kind of cars, different kind of drivers. Some know how to drive properly, who don't know how to drive properly. Some are coming from this country, that country. It's a mix of everything. So now it's a chaos. Just imagine like Sheikh Zayed Road in Dubai. It's a
Yeah.
chaos. Now,
Chaotic traffic.
so the people drive from all the countries are one place. So they learn driving styles differently in different countries. So think of the Sheikh Zayed Road is your microbiome. So now
Mm.
you want to make sure you have the good drivers and have less bad drivers. So if you have a
Hmm.
driver driving on the Sheikh Zayed Road, the traffic will be running smoothly. If the bad drivers will come in play, your traffic will be running chaotic. So
Yeah.
now it's going to cause people anger. So that is going to trigger the crime, right? So same way, if the microbiome is not healthier in your gut, and if you
Hmm.
have good gut microbiome and you have more bad microbiome, it is going to trigger this reaction for your genome, the DNA.
Hmm.
So that bad reaction will trigger the cancer, trigger heart disease, trigger diabetes, trigger depression, and mental health disorders.
Wow, doctor, let me unpack that. I think you put a lot of both medical terms and both layman terms, which I really appreciated. But I think the good news here is that whether for cancer detection, diagnosis, or treatment, there is now, a certain level of clarity in terms of what you need to take based on these testings that's going to happen, right? Because initially when my mom got cancer, she was like, I'm not doing chemotherapy at all because there's a lot of misconception that, when you do chemotherapy, you're going to lose your hair or something's going to happen to you. But when the doctor was explaining to us, there's so many, like there's targeted therapy, there's so many now that's available. And I think what I heard from you is even much better when we talk about precision healthcare, that it's really about deciding what to do for a specific person based on the DNA and the mutation of that cancer cell itself. Now, doctor, it's always there's so many things that needs to be done, right? I mean, if you were to give advice to any layman person, what do they need to do if they want to get themselves? I know you do have a lot of tools and tests, right? What's the primary test that they need to take care to make sure they're healthy? And what are the yearly tests? I mean, there's so many tests that I don't know what to do now. So can you give us best advice from your experience? What's the thing that we need to do at least yearly or at least at a certain age to take care of ourselves?
Thank you. So very important to understand, first of all, the blueprint of your body, the blueprint of the blueprint.
Mm,
So make sure you get your whole genome, the whole DNA analyzed, all the genes you're born with it, because you have two copies, one from your mom, one from your dad. You want to make
yeah.
sure analyzed properly, so to see what gene mutation you may have, so a doctor can make a proper plan for that. If there's a predisposition to certain things, then we can catch it earlier before the crime is committed. And it's very important for that. Second is that we should also have some imaging evaluation regularly. If someone hits a certain age, they should have a mammogram done in women health, right? So some of the recommendations are once you hit age of 40 plus, you start having a mammograms regularly. And if you have a family history of cancers, you should be starting a mammograms earlier. Same with someone has colon cancers, they should start the colonoscopy or other examinations earlier, or perhaps other biomarker testing that can detect the cancer cells before the cancer cells are happening. So, and if someone has already has a cancer and they have went through chemotherapy, then they look into cell-free DNA testing. It's called liquid biopsy to see if the cancer is coming back or not coming back. Because sometimes a cancer on imaging or MRI or a CT scan, it may not be visible on the imaging, but we see cancer cells floating in the blood. All of us have cancer cells every day. You have a cancer cell, I have a cancer cell, but those cancer cells are not in that much quantity to harm us. It is part of our body growing. We do develop small cancer cells along the way. Our body has a system to drain it and get them out, right? They kill them. But eventually, sometimes they get overburdened, they go overproduction. Liquid biopsy, cell-free DNA testing, which a person can do regularly to see if they're having a cancer cells floating more in the blood, so that there is a predisposition or the active cancer is happening now, and now they can have a more focused MRI, CT scan, ultrasounds for that particular cancer to follow. If the cancer cells are there, to target it and kill it before they get a metastatic. So that's a done. So BioAro has a liquid biopsy testings available. BioAro does provide a tissue biopsy. If someone has a sample of this cancer, we can sequence it, help decide the target therapy decision making in that area. We can do screening of the cancer cells in the blood. We can also do whole genome testing to see predispositions of that. But in the meantime, I recommend people to get the microbiome done. For example, oral microbiome, the bacteria in my mouth, they are linked, some of the bacteria are linked with cancers of the stomach, cancers of the esophagus, cancers for the mouth. So it's very important to know the oral microbiome of your mouth. And then it'll also help you to protect against periodontal diseases, cavities, any of those things happening in the mouth. And then you should also, as a woman health perspective, I recommend doing a vaginal microbiome testing, because vaginal microbiome testing is very important for some women the vaginosis, infertility, and sometimes there is it's a bacteria living there that is going to trigger the cancer. The environment is getting there, right? So it's very important to have a regular vaginal microbiome screening is done to make sure nothing bad is growing there. If you don't test it, how you know the environment is healthy or not healthy environment? So similar way, these kind of strategy you can deploy. So this multi-omics approach or panomic approach is very important to follow regularly. And then imaging and other blood testing goes together. It's like your centerpiece is multi-omics. Then you make a round with that blood testing, the proteome. Then you make another circle around it as imaging. So your MRI, CT, ultrasound, whatever needs to be done. So, but if you don't have a core and you go to MRI or a CT or ultrasound, you're missing the bigger picture.
Yes.
So, and then you have the other blood testing done, and then you do.
Doctor, this microbiome and liquid biopsy seems like very good way to detect the root cause of any situation and any problem, right? Now, how does it, I mean, how is it done? Do they need to just get blood from you? I mean, is it like a painful procedure? What is it about?
So for oral microbiome, you just have to spit.
What? Like only?
Spit. Okay. And for the gut microbiome, you go to wash, you go to the, before you flush, Basically, the kit is given from our company. You take a
Yeah.
sample, put in the tube, close the tube, package it, ship it.
Oh, wow. So
Yes.
it's that simple, right?
So for the whole genome, you can just order the kit, and then you at home you can drop a finger prick with a finger
Uh-huh.
prick, and drop a few pieces of blood inside,
Yeah.
and then close it and ship it.
Wow, that's very interesting. And now, doctor, I think the good news, we don't have to go to Canada. We
No,
don't
exactly.
have to go to Canada to avail these services, right? Can you talk more about the Dubai office? What testings are available? Can you share more about that?
Yes, so it's the Precision Health and Longevity Clinic. So it does offer many different kind of services. So we do
Hmm.
head to toe exam. So think of from head, go towards your toe. So we'll start by providing services as simple as hair follicles, right? So if the hairs are losing, then it's an aging process. We look at the hair follicles. We look at the skin assessment to make sure skin is not aging. Make sure you are using the right sunscreens and all of those things in place. And then we also do your eye exam. Internal medicine doctors do an eye exam, thought exam, and we also do dental exam to make sure your teeth are good, the jaw is not regressing, because as you get old your jaw becomes smaller and smaller. So some people
Hmm.
are regressing, the aging starts early on. It's very important to have a healthy jaw, and we want to make sure that everything is done properly, and we follow regularly. And from an ultrasound perspective, we do carotid ultrasounds to look any stroke risk for the person, thyroid ultrasound to make sure there's no nodules there. We do a heart ultrasound to make sure the heart is pumping normal. There are two different things we also do in clinic called a strain echo. Not many people in Dubai do strain echocardiogram. Strain
Okay.
echo new technology that tells us about someone who already has a cancer and someone was given a chemotherapy, and in many times they don't do a genetic testing or genomic testing, they just give them chemotherapy,
Hmm.
and those breast cancer patients develop heart failure, and those
Yeah,
heart
I've
come.
seen those. Hmm.
So what we do is train echocardiogram service, so we can then follow their heart every 3 to 6 months or as needed. So this way we can monitor the heart is not failing. So catch them before the,
Hmm.
it's called strain. So it's like a strain happening, right? So it's a strain echo. We'll be also offering a stress echocardiogram. You walk on the treadmill and then understand how the heart is doing under the stress. And we'll also do a VO2 max testing to understand the fitness and metabolic level of you. And see this we can follow longitudinally to see if the VO2 max is getting or not getting better. We'll do spirometry to understand your lung volumes to make sure everything is okay, and do liver ultrasounds to see if any liver problems are not developing, ovarian ultrasound for the woman health. We'll do ankle brachial index, look at the many blood blockage in the leg arteries are not developing, do heart monitoring, blood pressure monitor for 24 hours, sleep study, dietitian, psychology, medical genetics, gastroenterology, internal medicine, cardiology. All of those kind of dermatology services are available in the clinic.
Wow, that's interesting, doctor. I think it's good to know that we don't have to go to Canada to get access to this technology that you have now. And doctor, a lot of the good thing about Dubai, a lot of people here are covered by insurance, right? So, but I think it's also a question of, is it covered? Because sometimes insurance will always think of, is this something you need to do, or it's a nice to have. Now, in terms of this genome testing, liquid biopsy, or whatever test that you need to do, is this something that is, I mean, from your knowledge, is covered by insurance, or is it something that's out of scope? Where does it fall?
Well, uh, to me, what my understanding is, for Emirati population, they do cover almost all the tests. For
Yeah.
expats, the insurance companies all depends on the packages given to them. I am told
Mm,
many executives, senior executives, companies are giving their health benefits. They do provide them extra spending limits so they can spend more money for their health and wellness. So they
mm,
coverage is given there. But majority people, they may not have access coverage for the genomic testings. So unfortunately, they'll have to pay from their pocket for those things.
So I think, knowing UAE, health and wellness is a priority here. So I just hope later, I mean, there are always changes in the law. Then maybe they'll put the genome also as part of the insurance as a mandatory thing. Then they don't have to pay out of. How much
Well,
will it cost, doctor, if for genome testing on average?
well, for an average, for the whole genome testing, it's very important to understand uh, who's doing the genome testing. This
Ah,
industry is very for consumers just to understand that. So this
mm,
industry is going through ups and downs, and many people are getting misled in this area. Sometimes
mm,
people come to you, I can do a whole genome testing for $300. They will not give you a clinical report. They'll give you a semi half truth report. They will not give you a complete analysis for the cancers, heart disease, mental health disorders. They will never provide you service to you. They'll use your DNA data and perhaps use the information for some other place, unless you pay more money. It is a very common
mm,
wrong. Patients should be disclosed what they are doing, and the patient should be given the results exactly at the same time, not in the
true.
piece, not deciding, okay, you pay me money today, and I'm going to give you this information. But if you want more information, pay me more money and keep paying
Mm,
for more information. Why? Charge the fees, give me everything what I want to know. So it's very, very
yeah.
so your consumers needs to understand the clinical report should be there. So the clinical report
Mm,
is all the genes. Okay. So when you look at from that perspective, not many companies are able to compete. Or if they
mm,
compete, they'll be good for the people. It allows now the pricing will start to go down. People will access the whole genome sequencing at a cheaper pricing. At BioAro, we offer services at $699. And someone needs the oral microbiome testing, as simple as spitting an oral microbiome or a vaginal microbiome for $300 USD.
hmm. And I think I mean, if you really want to make sure, right, what's the best way for you, how healthy you are, then I think it makes sense to invest in your own health and get yourself checked. So I think these are important topics. A lot of people, I mean, I know a lot of people, I mean, specifically the older persons, like, I don't want to go to doctor because I might be sick or they might find something. But I think, health has always been the number one wealth, and getting yourself checked, getting this test is a very important thing.
It's
Now,
very,
doctor.
it's very you off. You said health is wealth. I say health is the investment. Rest everything is an expense. Your home
Mm,
investment. Okay, so
true.
your car is not an investment, and nothing you're buying on this earth is an investment. And you're
Mm,
the home today, someone else is going to live in once you're gone. You put
true.
the car today, once you're gone from this earth, someone else will be driving it if it's still working. So only true investment on this earth is your own health. If you
Hmm.
don't invest in yourself, the rest everything doesn't matter.
I love that, Dr. Yes. Your health is an investment because you only have one body and there's only one you. So that's very true. Now, doctor, before we end, I think I learned so much today, and I think it's so much good news that there's so much advancement in technology in terms of both, prevention, detection, and cure. Because I met a lot of patients at the hospital where their cancers just spread, and I think this is where precision check or precision healthcare is very important to really, as you rightly said, you can have MRI, CT scan, ultrasound, but the core of it is what is the mutation of that cell, which can only be detected through those liquid biopsies or genome testing. So, doctor, are there any other last words, best advice for those people? You're about longevity, lifespan. Can you have some last few words to give advice for those people who want to be healthier, happier, live longer lives?
What I suggest everyone is that if you take an apple from the tree and a fresh apple from the tree, you're going to put in the fridge, humidity, right temperature, that apple will last the longer. Apple will eventually die because Apple is programmed to die. We are also programmed to die. But the goal is keeping that apple the healthiest. So when you're going to eat after a few days, few weeks, few months, it's still fresh. So you can still enjoy it. So, but if the apple is left outside the heat of Dubai in the summer, 2 days, and you put in the fridge, it may not last as long. And if the apple is already wrinkly, or looking wrinkles and drier, you can put in the water, it'll become a plump. You can put all the fillers and the skin, you can plump your body, but it will not natural still. So if the apple you can go to put in the fridge now will still not last as long as a fresh apple that was put in. So main message I want to give to people is from the Apple story, start earlier. Don't wait for this to occur. Don't wait for the wrinkles to happen to start the treatments. So start earlier. Prevention is much more powerful than the cure. So start as young as possible. Take control of your own health. No one else will care about it. Be the CEO of your own health. If you're the CEO of your own health, then you're going to live longer.
Yes, I love that. Be the CEO of your own health. Now, doctor, how about for those people who are already diagnosed with cancer? What's your best advice? What's the next step? I mean, how can they stop the cancer from spreading, or how can they really help themselves become better?
Uh, I think what they should do is they should talk to their doctors, or they can also call our office and they can bring their file and they talk to the experts in our company and see if the treatment strategies they have is the right strategy and how best
Hmm.
follow. Those patients could look into, in any country, doesn't matter, look into getting a selfie DNA testing regularly to make sure the cancer cells are not coming back. It's one way of doing it. And there's more research happening in this area. A recent study was published for colon cancer patients, very powerful data that came out in support of using cell-free DNA testing. It is helping help change the practices globally. BioAro is also part of the story because we want to make people to have an access to these services. So you can get services preventatively as a screening, or you could consider them once the cancer is done to make sure cancer are not coming back. And if they are there, if you want to get second or third or fourth opinion, and or you want to sequence it and get the data analyzed from DNA perspective, we'll be happy.
Hmm. That's very good. Thank you, doctor. I think it's good to always have, second opinion. It's always good to get the right diagnosis. Now, doctor, can you please invite them? I know you do have a Dubai office now. This is an opportunity for a lot of people to get themselves checked, so they can be, I'll say they'll be happier, healthier, and live longer lives. Can you invite them to your Dubai clinic?
Definitely, they should come and they should go to a clinic is called Biolongevity. So longevity with biology. So anything
Oh.
we do in the clinic is based on the biology. So if something we recommend you today, but after 1 or 2 years we realize that the biology at that time was giving us a different information, what we know today, we'll follow the biology, we'll follow the science. And whatever the new strategies, treatment discoveries are happening in the future, even today, they're going to follow the biology and the sciences. And with truth, what are the information we understand, we'll share that with you. So I invite everyone to go to biolongevity.com/UAE to read about it. They can call the clinic in Dubai. It's in Al Barsha on a Sheikh Zayed Road and called Biolongevity, and we look forward to welcoming everyone. And stay.
Thank you. Thank you, doctor. We will drop the links of, your website and the location of the clinic. Now, doctor, if people want to reach out to you, what's the best way to do that?
Well, reaching out is calling the clinic and booking an appointment with one of the doctors as initial consultation, reviewing the file, and see what needs to be done. I think that's a first step, and then they can decide if they want to do a more precise approach in consultation. And say, for example, someone already want to talk about cancer, they had a cancer problem, and they're only looking for that answer. They don't have to do the whole longevity package. They don't have to do everything else. Then that care can also be provided.
Wow. So thank you again, Dr. Kapoor. It was an honor to have you. I think there's so much light that you gave today in terms of the innovation and the importance of, being the CEO of your health, because there's so many technologies and innovation now that's available for you to prevent, detect, and cure cancer. And thankfully, BioAro is one of the solutions. And I just hope like how your mission can really, be spread all over the world, because in the Philippines, I don't even know if there's something like what you have already, but the good news, we have it in Dubai already. Thank you, Doctor. It's been an honor to have you.
Thank you.
Let me summarize our very, very informative and insightful episode today. We learned how prevention is always better than cure, and there's so many technologies and advancements now where cancer or whatever sickness that you have can be detected through a lot of tests that could be done. So please take care of your health, because prevention is better than cure. Number two, also Dr. Kapoor shared how you are the CEO of your health, and there are many tests that can help you get, get healed, get the right results, get precision care through a lot of genome testing and other kind of methodologies that he mentioned today. So the good news about having genome testing is that you get precision, personalized healthcare that will definitely, I hope, and actually is working for a lot of people now. So if you do want to visit Dr. Kapoor's clinic, they do have a clinic now in Dubai. Please do that. Get yourself checked, because again, health is the best wealth. You are the CEO of your own health, and prevention is always better than cure. Again, this is the Cancer Conversations with Coach Wanda. I would like to thank those who are watching us live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. We do repurpose this as a YouTube podcast. So if you do want to watch this replay or you want to watch the previous episodes, please go to LinkedIn Coach Wanda so you can find the YouTube podcast. If you do want to partner with us as a guest or as a sponsor, because the goal of this podcast is to share insightful information and inspiring stories to change the narrative of cancer. So it could be something that is about strength and support and shared knowledge. Get in touch with me, Coach Wanda, or go to Kaltan Social Media Marketing to partner with us. Till the next episode, God bless you.